The initial observation upon entering my bedroom was the presence of an unfamiliar, cloyingly sweet fragrance that was not mine. I froze at the doorway with my carry-on luggage upon receiving my sister Paisley's signature. The object slipped from my shoulder and hit the hardwood floor with a thud. My name is Trinity, and I had just returned from a 3-month consulting project in Seattle, intended to surprise my family and fiancé, encountered unforeseen issues. I screamed out hello, my voice reverberating through our family's Victorian home. Upon returning home, there was no response. My room appeared altered, and the photographs on my dresser had been displaced. Rearranged and foreign garments protruded from my closet as I approached. My heart raced. These were not my clothes but Paisley's. What on earth is happening? My sister had replaced my belongings with hers, murmuring as she tore open drawers. Someone had appropriated my belongings from my sanctuary, the room where I had grown up. I seized them. I was about to call my fiancé Colton when I discovered a piece of paper. Emerging from beneath the mattress, I extracted a note bearing Colton's untidy handwriting, "My dearest P. The night was extraordinary. I cannot cease contemplating you." 3 months without Trinity had been sublime, as expressed in the letter. Slid from my shaky fingertips, scattering several love letters between my sister and my. "Is that you, Beyoncé Trinity?" My mother's voice resonated from upstairs. Rapidly collected the letters and placed them into my bag. "Yes, Mother has just returned." I yelled out, struggling to maintain a calm voice, "Oh dear, we were not anticipating this." She appeared in the doorway, impeccably made up and impeccably dressed, "Until next week. As always, I trust you do not object to Paisley using your room when hers is unavailable." While undergoing renovations, I compelled a smile, yet, I inquired about Colton's whereabouts. She called him while he and Paisley were on their route to retrieve lunch, and they should return shortly. She radiated joy over the two of them. "They have developed a strong bond during your absence. It is remarkable how effectively they interact." My stomach churned. "Really, it is lovely, Mother." The phone vibrated. It was your father. "Come down when you're ready," she said hurriedly before departing, leaving me alone with my disintegrating thoughts. I sat on my bed, which likely no longer belonged solely to me. Retrieved one of the letters dated just last week. My parents still do not. Trinity has consistently been oblivious about you. Do not suspect anything. Delete these messages after reading. Love always, P. The front door opened. Laughter from downstairs ascended, comprising Paisley's melodic giggle and Colton's resonant chuckle. The sound elicited a visceral reaction. Colton announced that your mother indicated you were home. I inhaled deeply, straightened my shoulders, and approached the mirror. The woman reflecting back appeared composed. Despite my internal screams, I managed to keep my voice soft and gentle. I concealed the letters further in my purse and descended the stairs. Colton remained in the lobby, still strikingly gorgeous. In his immaculate suit, Paisley reclined against the wall behind him, donning one of my old sweaters as if it were his own. Colton approached to embrace me, and I permitted him, observing his demeanor. Emitted the fragrance of Paisley's perfume. To my surprise, I let out an exclamation and returned the embrace. I observed Paisley's face for a brief period as her flawless facade faltered. Paisley, displaying a semblance of trepidation, presented the takeout lunch. She incorrectly ordered my preferred Thai cuisine, whereas her favorite was Italian. However, she was unaware, having been preoccupied with appropriating my existence, to acquire such information. "How considerate," I remarked. Accompanying them to the kitchen, I have an abundance of information to provide regarding Seattle. I eagerly await the entirety of Colton's remarks, his hand resting on my waist. The engagement ring he had bestowed upon me felt as though it were searing my finger while we sat down to dine. I observed my flawless sister. My devoted fiancé and my affectionate parents were unaware of my discovery. Unaware of what was forthcoming, I smiled and nodded while they conversed, fulfilling my role flawlessly, while internally I was all ready. They intended to feign a harmonious family dynamic. I would acquiesce till. The instant I incinerated everything, Trinity Paisley presented an abundance of spring rolls. "Innocence and illumination. Thank you, sister," I remarked while accepting one. "I believe this. The homecoming will be exceptionally significant, albeit not in the anticipated manner. It will be spectacular," Andrea muttered as she slid into the booth opposite me at our customary coffee shop. Her laptop was already open. My fingers danced across the keyboard as I called my coworker and closest associate. Friend, the instant I could discreetly depart from the residence, I sought assistance to reveal the complete scope of Paisley and Colton's treachery was revealed by Andrea, who possessed a talent for internet sleuthing. She turned the screen toward me, and I successfully retrieved deleted emails from Colton's work account. The timestamps indicate. Nearly a year ago, my coffee soured in my stomach while I browsed. The texts, lunch appointments, clandestine encounters, hotel bookings, an entire year, and my voice cracked. They have been engaging in this behavior since prior to my departure for Seattle. Andrea extended her hand across the table and grasped mine. Recall the charity event from last Christmas, the one you were unable to attend. I attended due to food poisoning. I anticipated the direction of the conversation and checked the email from December 23rd. The message loaded, and I felt the blood drain from my face as I slipped the iPack inside. She will not arrive at the event due to her drink. Meet me there. They have poisoned me. A familiar voice whispered, Trinity, as I slammed the door. The laptop closed as Paisley reached our table, radiating warmth and adorned in fine attire. I believed I observed you via the window. Who is your companion? Andrea, my colleague. She smiled and added, we are merely discussing work-related matters. What brings you here? Paisley's gaze remained on the closed laptop as she picked up Colton's preferred cappuccino, noting his recent stress. It is considerate of you to assist with our wedding preparations, I remarked while observing her. A fleeting expression of remorse and fear across her features. The smile returned. That is the purpose of sisters. Speaking of which, Mother requests our presence. I expressed my excitement about dress shopping this weekend after Paisley departed. Andrea restarted her laptop, stating that there was additional information to review. She discovered emails exchanged between Paisley and your mother. Last month, the mails disclosed a sequence of transactions from my mother's personal account to substantial amounts for Paisley. The funds formerly allocated for my wedding have been utilized by my mother to finance her affair, leaving me in a state of emotional numbness. Trinity, observe me. Andrea leaned forward. What is your intended action? I accessed my calendar on my phone. I am going dress shopping this weekend. I'm determined to obliterate anything that they cherish. Andrea stated that she has further excavation to undertake, but regardless of your intentions. Later that evening, I attended another family dinner, observing the spectacle while my mother expressed her admiration. Paisley's new employment, with my father nodding proudly, while Colton's hand rests on my leg beneath the table. As he exchanged eyes with my sister, Paisley recalled when Trinity attempted to establish her own firm. She is relieved that she chose consulting over that firm, which might have thrived if someone had intervened. I hadn't wrecked my investor meeting, I remarked softly, meeting her gaze. It's amusing how my presentation file vanished just prior to the big pitch, causing the table to fall silent at Paisley's fork. She hesitated midway to her mouth as her mother waved her hand dismissively, reminiscent of the past. Paisley, inform everyone about your promotion. My phone buzzed with a text from Andrea regarding the security footage obtained from the. I excused myself from the hotel where the last meeting took place 3 days earlier. In the bathroom, I watched the film with trembling hands. There were my sister and my fiancé discovered in an intimate embrace in the hotel lobby. Upon my return to the table, Colton drew me near and kissed me. My cheek, everything is fine, darling. You are pallid. I have never felt better, I grinned, acknowledging the situation. A subtle mark of Paisley's lipstick on his collar evokes thoughts of our wedding, which promises to be unforgettable. The mother of the bride radiated joy, stating that she had been collaborating with Paisley on the seating arrangements since she possesses a remarkable aesthetic sensibility. Actions I am confident she undertakes, I remarked, elevating my wine glass to familial enigmas. As Paisley raised her glass, it trembled slightly, and our eyes locked. Over the rim, I observed the initial fissure in her flawless facade. She was aware of my presence. She was aware of something, however, she was oblivious to the extent of my phone's incessant buzzing. Andrea had. The discovery of additional proof and further betrayals revealed that the web of deception was disintegrating. Thread by thread, I served more wine, embodying the ideal hostess. In orchestrating their demise, revenge is occasionally most effective when accompanied by a smile. My mother brushed away tears as I twirled in the wedding dress, looking exquisite. The boutique's trifold mirror accurately reflected my image, presenting it flawlessly. The bride donned white lace, while a beautiful deception enveloped me as Paisley circled like a shark. Modifying the neckline of the train is inappropriate. Perhaps a more conservative approach is warranted. I believe it is ideal, I remarked while meeting her gaze in the mirror. Do you not desire your elder sister to appear her finest while strolling down? Paisley flinched slightly in the aisle, but swiftly regained her composure. I desire things to be flawless for you and Colton. My phone vibrated on the adjacent chair. Another message from Andrea was received. Trinity's mother stated that they established a combined bank account for the purpose of purchasing a house and funding their wedding. Bring me back to reality. Should we go with the deposit for this one? I believe I need to try on several more Paisleys, as everything requires adjustment. I approached Paisley as Mom conversed with the consultant. The accessories exhibit features a stunning necklace, which she is wearing. Her hand instinctively moved to her throat, caressing the diamond. This pendant? It's merely a birthday gift I acquired locally. Tiara is casually studying it. It resembles just the one Colton described. Purchasing a gift for our first anniversary, which bears the identical inscription on the reverse, caused the color to drain from her face. I do not. Are you knowledgeable about the subject? I inched closer, maintaining a subdued tone. The inscription states, "Forever yours, K." Would you like me to read what follows? Before she could reply, Mom summoned us to examine the veils. The afternoon elapsed in a haze of tulle and anxiety, with Paisley becoming progressively more apprehensive while I remained composed. That evening, Colton brought me to dinner at our favorite restaurant, adorned in my mask of bridal bliss. The establishment he believed to be our favorite was, in fact, Paisley's. In his favorite spot, he raised his glass, flashing that alluring smile from the past. Initially exhilarated, I now feel a sense of discomfort as I murmured, "Oh that." It reminds me that I visited the bank today to discuss our joint account. His fork halted midway to his mouth in surprise. I clarified the wedding fund while observing his discomfort. The teller noted several irregularities. The transfers are not unusual. It must be an error, he stated promptly. I will investigate. Please do it tomorrow. By the way, I encountered Julian today. Do you recall him? My cousin, a real estate realtor, mentioned a house you were interested in at Colton's Knuckles. He looked at the white rim of his wine glass, perusing choices for our future. Reflectively, I stated while retrieving my phone that Julian had indeed sent me the listing. A picturesque location featuring 3 bedrooms and a garden. Amusingly, the application possesses your information. The name and Paisley's presence must indicate another error, correct? The quiet between us extended like a taut rubber band, poised to snap. Snap, Colton finally cleared his throat. Trinity, I can explain. No need, I interrupted him. I am getting quite fatigued from standing. Wedding planning is somewhat exhausting. He volunteered to drive you home, desperation infiltrating his voice. Request a taxi, I instructed, discarding my napkin on the table. Additionally, Colton, that lipstick is on. Your color is the incorrect tint for me, but it complements Paisley's wonderfully. I exited. Leaving him stammering at the table outside, I texted Andrea that it was time for Faze. Upon my return home, I found my mother pouring water in her study. Mother, can we discuss the wedding budget while reviewing wedding magazines? Dear, I have been intending to inform you that part of the money is momentarily inaccessible due to its transfer to Paisley's account. I said innocently, causing her to freeze, the paper sliding from her fingers. How did you know I completed it for her? I am aware of everything, Mom, every transfer, every deception. Each time you selected her over me, the sole inquiry was why Trinity, please. I commenced, but I was already departing. Do not be concerned, I cried back over my shoulder. The engagement party next week will reveal all. I am orchestrating an elaborate presentation in my actual room, which I regained the space by relocating Paisley's belongings to the garage and retrieved the accumulating dossier of evidence, including bank statements. Each item, emails, photographs, and hotel receipts, represented a bullet in the gun I was about to fire. My phone illuminated with a message from Paisley, "We need to talk." I responded with a single word, "Soon." The mask was becoming increasingly burdensome. However, I would don it for a brief period longer, as the engagement party was merely days away. I had one final act to prepare. They desired a spectacle, and I would deliver an unforgettable performance. To prevent this, Julian confronted me in the kitchen over Sunday brunch about your intentions. This will devastate the family. I persisted in putting cookies on a tray, avoiding his gaze. It is ironic how no one, concerned about jeopardizing the family while they were deceiving me, he lowered his voice as footsteps approached. While investigating the house purchase, I discovered an issue pertaining to your birth certificate. Paisley entered the kitchen, her smile excessively radiant. Requesting further coffee, Julian cast me a significant glance prior to exiting. Paisley stated, once we were alone, that we needed to discuss the matter. I inquired about the engagement celebration, expressing concern over adding more cookies to the platter. Cease the pretense, she shouted. I am aware that you possess knowledge regarding Colton and... I turned to face her as she leaned against the counter. Do you recall my 8th? When I delivered the valedictorian speech at my graduation, she reacted with surprise at the abrupt change in topic. Someone substituted my speech with blank pages immediately prior to my on-stage appearance. I was foolish before everyone as I picked up a cookie, scrutinizing it. That was you, wasn't it? We were children. She responded dismissively, what does that have to do with my college acceptance letter to Yale? The item inexplicably failed to arrive, causing me to miss the registration date. Trinity, your actions have consistently undermined me throughout my life. Usurping my fiancé represents a new nadir for you. It is not as if that is the case, Paisley. She seized my arm. We fell in love unintentionally, causing you pain. I recoiled from her. Reserve the performance for those who continue to accept your deceptions. What actions will you take when trepidation infiltrates her tone? I grinned, as I want to offer these cookies during my engagement celebration. And embody the ideal bride-to-be, just as you have consistently exemplified the perfect sister. Meanwhile, in the living room, Colton was. I was demonstrating something on my father's phone, highlighting an investment opportunity that might potentially double his money within 6 months, and I became immobilized. Andrea's recent message revealed evidence of investment fraud. Colton has been deceiving your father. It sounds intriguing, I interjected, placing it down. Dad, did you not express an interest in investing in my previous company proposal, the one that ultimately failed? You shifted uneasily. Indeed, Paisley persuaded you that it was excessively perilous. Colton offers an opportunity that seems unreal, yet it is truly genuine. I stated promptly that I could present the documentation pertaining to the house you are purchasing, to which I inquired innocently. The room fell silent with the submission of the fraudulent loan application. The coffee cup clattered against the saucer. What? The father inquired. Oh, didn't Colton inform you regarding the residence he and Paisley intend to purchase utilizing funds from my wedding account? That is sufficient, mother. Trinity abruptly rose, urging, cease the theatrics. I chuckled and inquired, do you wish to converse? Regarding the drama, let me discuss the funds you have been diverting to Paisley from father's retirement account, which caused a sudden reaction from him. Regarding mom, she asserted swiftly that Trinity has always been envious. I am her sister. I retrieved my phone. Should I display the bank to everyone? Paisley muttered words questioning why this is not what ideal families do. Julian intervened, instructing Trinity to recall my previous statement of sharing everything. The birth document is not available at the moment. I interrupted him, but Colton managed to obtain it. Which birth certificate? Julian swiftly requested that I disregard my mention of the certificate, although I observed something glimmer. Genuine fear was evident on my mother's face, transcending mere concern regarding disclosed secrets. Mom, I inquired carefully, is there anything else you wish to convey? This conversation is concluded, she declared. Trinity, I am uncertain about your recent behavior, but it must cease immediately. You are correct. I stated that gathering my belongings ceases with the engagement celebration. As I exited, I heard Paisley erupt into tears, her signature response. She would typically relocate when circumstances were unfavorable, but this time it would not be effective with my phone. Andrea has once again located the birth certificate that Julian indicated you require. I observed the house where my family was likely fabricating narratives to rationalize my absence. They were unaware that their meticulously constructed lives were on the verge of collapse, perhaps the most significant event. It was time to reveal the ultimate deception. I am not their daughter. My hands trembled as I stared at them. Andrea scatters the paperwork across her kitchen table. How is this possible? These documents show that Andrea highlighted a section indicating your adoption, but there is more information to take into account. The date on your adoption documents and Paisley's birth certificate are merely 3 months different. They adopted me just prior to Paisley's birth, while your mother was pregnant with her. Andrea confirmed that they never adopted you. Your adoption has not been properly registered, leaving you in a state of legal limbo. The world is askew, so mother consistently preferred Paisley, as she is their true favorite. The voice of Trinity Julian, daughter of Andrea, emanated from the doorway. I heard him enter. I see you have discovered the truth. You knew. I turned to confront him about all of this. As he sat down with a thud, I recalled overhearing my parents discussing it years prior. There is additional context regarding your biological mother. My phone rang, interrupting. Colton's name illuminated the screen. Do not answer it, Andrea cautioned, however. Trinity Colton's voice was urgent. We must discuss everything. Meet me at our designated location. Are you referring to the hotel in Paisley? I inquired coldly. Before downtown becomes silent, there's something you need to know. Tomorrow is the engagement celebration. I hung up and headed to Julian to inquire about my situation. Biological mother. He shook his head stating, it is not my narrative to disclose, but perhaps it is time for you to inquire directly with your parents. I will. I rose up, collecting the documents at the. During the engagement party, Trinity Julian grasped my arm, cautioning me to be careful. Certain secrets are concealed for a purpose. That evening, I remained in my vehicle outside my. Observing from the parents' residence as they entertained their weekly bridge club, my mother was laughing while my father was present. As I poured wine, Paisley was captivating the guests as usual when my phone vibrated. A message from Colton. Please meet me, I implore you. Another message was received. This one is from Paisley. Whatever you are preparing for tomorrow, you have no idea. I was in the process of composing a response when a knock on my car window startled me. My father was standing there. Exhibiting worry, he inquired whether we might converse after I lowered the window. I acquiesced with a nod. He entered the passenger seat, stating quietly, your mother is unaware of my presence here. Nevertheless, I perceived the adoption. Were you rummaging through my belongings in search of evidence regarding your plans? Trinity groaned, noting that there are aspects of your adoption issues that could. It would harm numerous individuals if they disclosed that it was illegal. I inquired angrily, and he recoiled. Who informed you? What I wish to understand is the rationale behind adopting me only to mistreat me. Treated as a second-class person within my own family, it was not intended to be this way. He muttered, we love you, but your mother, when Paisley arrived. Preserve it. I terminated the conversation. Save it for tomorrow when everybody can listen. Truth, please. His voice trembled. Do not subject your mother to this. My mother, I laughed. With bitterness, I question which individual is to blame, the one who abandoned me or the one who never desired me, father. I extended my hand, then I withdrew it. Please answer one question. Does Paisley know? He asserted emphatically that she is unaware. My phone illuminated once more with a message from Andrea regarding your situation. The present address of my biological mother is astonishing. Please return indoors, father. I am initiating the ignition of my vehicle. I will see everyone tomorrow at the celebration. Trinity, do not be concerned. I smiled with a hint of grimness. Orchestrated all elements meticulously, including catering, decor, music, and a sufficient degree of authenticity. As I departed, I saw him in my rearview mirror, intent on fracturing this family. Isolated in the darkness, my phone incessantly vibrated with notifications from Colton, Paisley, and Mom. Attempting to avert tomorrow's unavoidable explosion, they were ultimately too late. The invitations had been dispatched, and the evidence was present. Prepared, and within 24 hours, every meticulously crafted falsehood would be revealed. Upon arriving at my apartment building, I observed a manila packet. A lone snapshot of me as an infant was tucked under my windshield wiper. A woman, whose face was obscured on the back with foreign scribbling, presented me to my parents. Unearthing certain truths is often preferable to leaving them concealed, although I had resolved to confront those buried truths. Tomorrow, the truth will be revealed, regardless of the consequences, concerning the engagement party. It would not merely signify the conclusion of my connection with Colton, but rather the termination of everything, even the country. The club ballroom glimmered with champagne flutes and insincere smiles as I stood at the observing my meticulously placed dominoes poised to topple, Andrea. Positioning herself adjacent to the AV equipment, Julian lingered by the bar alongside my family. Dispersed throughout the room, everyone attempting to appear composed. "You look exquisite, Colton." He approached me, extending his hand, which I let him grasp while I observed his demeanor. Feeling anxious and perspiring, I inquired gently before he could respond, "Mother?" She clinked her glass to garner attention. "Welcome, everyone. We are here to celebrate the engagement." The crowd clapped as Paisley stood in honor of my lovely children, Trinity and Colton. In the corner, grasping her champagne as if it were a lifeline, I proceeded. Initially, I wished to express a few remarks. However, my mother's smile diminished, suggesting perhaps at a later time, darling. The caterers are now great. I have moved to the center of the room. Express gratitude to all for attending the celebration of love, family, and truth. Andrea subdued the illuminate slightly to the right on cue. The projection screen descends behind me. First, let us discuss love. I activated the remote, and images of Colton and Paisley emerged. The screen concealed their clandestine meetings at the hotel, personal times they believed were private. Gasps rippled across the audience as Mom dropped her glass next to the family. I persisted in transitioning to bank statements and transfer records. Mother. Desire to elucidate the rationale behind Dad depleting Father's retirement account in favor of Paisley or the utilization of my wedding fund for this purpose. Cease the acquisition of a residence for my sister and her fiancée Trinity, immediately. Mother's voice trembled. Nonetheless, we have yet to reach the most compelling aspect. Retrieved the adoption documents. Let us examine why you never formally registered my adoption. Was it due to your inability to do so? While occupied with preparations for your biological daughter's arrival, the room fell into a profound silence, and Paisley's complexion turned pale. She mentioned that she whispered "don't" as Dad stepped closer, but I was already there. Last night, I removed the photograph from my windshield. Mother, could you elucidate the reason for this? Erase the visage of my biological mother, or should we request your sister Rachel to elucidate as Mother recoiled? How did you discover that my biological mother is my aunt? I presented my phone's DNA results. Rachel, your sister, does not favor the child she adopted in secrecy, which is me. Teenage pregnancy. It is unsurprising that you harbored resentment against me, as I never felt animosity towards you, Mother asserted. Weakly, I smiled. So why did you permit Paisley to systematically dismantle everything? Why did you assist her in taking my fiancé? That is not what I expected from the opportunity one was given. Paisley finally articulated that Colton and I fell in love, despite never having met. Did you file for a marriage license last week because someone caught you interrupting? Colton's head turned sharply toward Paisley. You did what? He asked. Oh, she didn't inform you? I replied with a smirk. It seems she was manipulating both of us, as my father's words resonated throughout the room. Trinity, you have articulated your point. I looked to the assembled guests. As a socialite mother and a businessman father, we appear to be the ideal family. Paisley, the golden child, and I, the unanticipated adoptive mistake they never desired. Not accurate, Father stated gently. Then elucidate this. I presented one final document. A trust fund was established on the day of Paisley's birth, with any funds that were to be divided between us allocated exclusively to her. Every opportunity, every advantage, and every expression of affection are exclusively designated for your authenticity. My daughter Paisley began to weep, causing her flawless mascara to run. I was unaware of this. I assure you, I was unaware of your adoption. Conserve your tears. I have reacted, and they will not be shed. Trinity Julian advanced, addressing your biological mother, Rachel. She arrived, and the crowd parted, unveiling a woman who bore a striking resemblance to me. Positioned at the rear of the room, she softly acknowledged receipt of your invitation. It seemed appropriate for Mom to release a suppressed sob pleading, Rachel, please, no more secrets, Sarah. Rachel will sever ties with her. Trinity merits the truth. I gazed at the woman who abandoned me, the mother who never desired me. I confront the sister who betrayed me and the man who deceived us all. I raised my champagne glass, The reality is that this engagement has concluded. The illusion of a perfect family has dissipated. Everything has concluded. I dropped my glass, allowing it to shatter. Shattered on the floor, I proceeded toward the exit as commotion ensued behind me. Accusations and requests for explanations arose, although I did not reflect on the past. I ignited the match and saw the conflagration. It was now time to depart from the remnants. Suddenly, Rachel's voice trailed after me. Please allow me 5 minutes as I enter the parking lot. I turned to confront my biological parent. Mother is observing her for the first time, noting the identical green eyes and dark features. The hair and obstinate chin resembled a reflection of my destiny, prompting the question of why. I inquired why it was not addressed at any point in the past 29 years, given that your mother, Sarah, initiated it. I promised to maintain distance. Rachel approached and threatened to disclose everything. Regarding the pregnancy, if my previous communication deterred you, that sufficed to maintain your distance. At the age of 16, I felt frightened and isolated, and your mother persuaded me that it was in my best interest. Everyone at the country club witnessed the doors burst open as Paisley emerged, her mascara running down her face. Her expression was one of confusion as she implored Trinity, stating that she was unaware of any of this and inquiring which aspect she had questioned. Indifferently, the aspect where you are not my sister or the facet where you intended to wed my fiancé, whom I love. She murmured, I am aware it is improper, yet I love him and the subterfuge, the theft. Before she could respond, Colton arose from the opportunities that love presented. Constructing Trinity, allow me to elucidate what I discovered regarding his deceit. The affair, or the intention to appropriate my inheritance post-marriage, rendered his countenance ashen. How did this transpire? I retrieved the paperwork from my phone, displaying the screenshots to him. It is vital to utilize more robust passwords. Subsequently, Mom and Dad appeared, followed by what? It appeared that a significant portion of the party attendees were reaching out to me, but I withdrew. All my actions were aimed at safeguarding this family and protecting Rachel. She scoffed, accusing me of abducting my daughter to conceal her. Your own shame subsequently led you to punish her for merely living. I provided her with everything, Mother. Shouted, no. Dad's calm voice pierced the turmoil. You sacrificed everything for Paisley. Both of us erred, and Paisley's cries intensified. Daddy, please, the trust. He perpetuated the opportunities through persistent favoritism, resulting in this predicament. Everything has now escalated unexpectedly, exactly as I assured you it would. What do you desire? Mother inquired urgently regarding the house and the financial implications. It is futile to attempt to rectify this. I smiled cynically, for you cannot amend 29 years of deception with mere fixes. A checkbook, Mother, or should I even refer to you as such? I raised you, she murmured. No. You endured my presence. There is a distinction. Colton advanced, Trinity notwithstanding. You believe you possess knowledge regarding me and Paisley, but I have severed ties with him. Andrea discovered your information. The FBI will closely examine your offshore accounts and financial schemes. His complexion transitioned from pale to gray. You would not believe it. I have already checked your phone. He retrieved it. He retrieved his phone, palms trembling. A single glance at the screen prompted him to dash towards his car. Colton left, despite Paisley calling after him. He was exploiting you. I quietly informed Paisley about the investment documents he intended to remove all possessions from you, from Dad, from everyone. Rachel lightly grasped my arm. Accompany me, we have much to discuss, Trinity. Please, Mother implored, we can resolve this as a family. I indicated the disorder surrounding us. This is not family, it is a web of deceit that has ultimately disintegrated. Therefore, let us proceed. Rebuild. My father proposed commencing anew with honesty this time. I observed the anguished expression of my mother, the remorseful countenance of my father, and the tears of Paisley. Rachel's hope is that the fact is, I stated deliberately, I no longer desire any of it. Neither the competition nor the false perfection concerns me. I am finished. What are you implying? Paisley said, I am bidding farewell. I turned to Rachel and expressed, I would like to become acquainted with you. However, not at this moment, not in this manner. She nodded, comprehending. I will be present when you are ready. Prepared, I approached my vehicle, cognizant of their gaze upon me, when Andrea emerged at my side. She discreetly handed me a thumb drive, assuring me that everything was backed up. The FBI is indeed interested in Colton's accounts. Thank you, I grasped her hand. As I departed, I observed in my rearview mirror my meticulously constructed explosions resulted in rubble as mother slumped into father's embrace. Paisley sat on the curb, her head in her hands, as Rachel stood solitary. She watched my departure like she did 29 years ago, but this time it was my decision. My terms, my independence. Sometimes the only way to heal a broken family is to walk. The morning newspaper headline stated that a local investment banker was detained in a multi-million-dollar scheme. Fraud scheme. I sipped my coffee while observing the sunrise from my new residence. While on the balcony, my phone vibrated with a message from Andrea informing me that Colton is departing. For an extended period, I received another message from Paisley requesting a conversation. I hesitated, then responded that I would be at the coffee shop on 5th in 30 minutes upon my arrival in Paisley. She sat solitary at a corner table, appearing markedly different from her typically refined demeanor. Designer apparel, devoid of flawless makeup, reveals the unvarnished truth in her gaze. I have sold the residence. She remarked as I sat down, the one Colton and I, well, clever move, the FBI. She interviewed me yesterday and twisted her napkin. I was unaware of the deceit he committed. They were also stealing from me. I discreetly acknowledged this and made sure they knew. You were not involved. Her head jerked upward. You did it for me after all that has transpired. Contrary to your beliefs, I never intended to harm you, Paisley. I merely sought the truth. Mother is undergoing therapy and has extended the opportunity to father. Rachel inquires about your well-being regarding your temporary relocation. Discovering that we are indeed related elicited a feeble laugh from her. Clarifies the reasons behind my mother's relentless pursuit of my perfection and her inability to achieve it herself. I am pleased to witness your success. The barista delivered our drinks. She had ordered my genuine favorite, not hers. You remembered. I observed that I am attempting to recall numerous experiences, particularly how it felt prior to my initiation. I will compete with you before allowing jealousy to transform me into a person I despise. My phone. My inebriated father received the divorce papers today. Can we meet, Dad? Paisley inquired, to which I nodded. They are divorcing. My mother's secrets ultimately fractured their relationship and ours. What fractured our relationship? I did, she murmured. I caused our demise, and I deeply regret it. Apologies, Trinity. Not solely for Colton, but for all opportunities, I seized every moment. Undermined the valedictorian address. I was envious of your perpetual intelligence. The overwhelming pressure for my mother to achieve perfection became unbearable. Then, the door chimed. Rachel entered and halted abruptly upon seeing us together. I can return, she said. I requested her to join us, forming a triangular arrangement. Rachel stated, I executed the documents due to the complex connections and mutual suffering. Paisley inquired whether this implies your return, as I am formally recognizing myself as your birth mother, should you choose it. I purchased a property in proximity to Rachel, who acknowledged if that is okay to all. My phone. I am intoxicated once more, Mother. This time, I understand if you decide to never forgive me, but please be aware. I am attempting to modify the text I presented to them, as she is trying, Paisley remarked gently. The therapist indicates she is finally addressing her childhood trauma, and I inquired of Rachel whether she is confronting her own. Each day, she extended her hand, beginning with reconciliation towards you. Morning light streamed through the window, illuminating our three faces, which, although identical, were individually distinguished by unique features. Choices. I cannot guarantee forgiveness, I stated deliberately, but perhaps we might attempt to reconcile. Something novel understood something sincere this time, akin to what Paisley inquired about, resembling being. Genuine family, devoid of competitiveness, deception and idealized facades. I would appreciate that, Rachel. I clasped my palm. Paisley wiped away a tear. More than anything, my phone. Andrea, the FBI requires another meeting. Colton is providing names. I observed these women, my cousin, who was previously my sister, and my aunt. Formerly my mama, now a stranger, each of us fractured. By the same deceptions, every one of us opts for truth above perfection. Indeed, I responded via SMS. I am okay, as family is not solely defined by those who raised you or share your bloodline. Blood is occasionally defined by those that stand with you amidst the debris, prepared to construct anything anew, thus I remarked, elevating my. Rachel proposed commencing with the truth and forgiveness over a coffee cup. Paisley responded negatively, and I indicated my disagreement by shaking my head. We commence with the acceptance of our identities. Our accomplishments and potential are illuminated when the morning light intensifies, dispelling darkness. We were imperfect and incomplete, yet we emerged from the shadows of our past. We're genuine, and perhaps that constituted the ultimate kind of retribution.